At visittanzania4less.com, we revel in creating unforgettable safari experiences. This journey has been even more rewarding because of you, our valued patrons. Thank you for entrusting us with your adventures. For those still planning, get ready to immerse in the awe-inspiring landscapes of Tanzania at fantastic rates. Visit Tanzania4less.com, where incredible experiences await. We can't wait to guide your journey of a lifetime.
Good afternoon, Muskegon. It's that time for Torn to Two for this April 2024, April 26th. How you doing, Muskegon? This is Gregory T. Roberts. I am your host for the show, Melvin Burns. We might have him to do an update about the water situation for the show, but he's supposed to be working today. Just to let you know and give you a reminder about the show is this show is the news, information, and more locally, state, national, and international, bringing it to you with a hometown flavor. We're the only ones in the business doing this. So we'd like to thank you. If there's anything that you have, something that you would like to know, an artist or somebody's writing a book, please call us at 727-231-727-5007 about the Torn in Two show. Speaking of Torn in Two show, let's get them right there. One of the twins, my buddy, Pastor Melvin Burns II. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother. How are you today?
Good. I know you're busy, but listen, you got a quick update with the water situation tonight.
Yes, good news. As people have been following, got pressure back in the heights, we have to do tests for bacteria for 2 consecutive days. We did test it yesterday. We got the first round of tests back, negative for bacteria. And so that's good news. We do another round of tests today. Probably by 2 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have a new update. We're expecting those to be good, and then folks can go back to using their water as normal.
Okay. What caused the problem in the first place?
Our best information is we had a malfunction in a computer system that operates all of our pumps and everything. And so when it malfunctions, it shuts everything down like it should.
Okay. Yeah. So you say that again so our listeners and people that watch will hear it again.
Once we got the system back up and running, we have to do tests to make sure there's no bacteria in the water system. We did a round of tests yesterday. We got the test results back. All the tests were negative. Negative being a good thing in this connotation. We took more samples today. We'll get test results tomorrow. Once we get those test results, we'll send those to Eagle and our Department of Environment, and then we'll be everybody released from the emergency warning. And so we hope to do that somewhere early afternoon tomorrow.
All right, brother. Anything else today?
No, tell folks to check our Facebook page and our web page. It'll be updates as well as things they can do when their water's off in terms of running their water, cleaning out the aerators. We'll put a lot of information on both of those sites.
Okay. All right, Pastor. I'm going to miss you today's show. You listen, man, you have a great day.
All right, brother.
Thank you for the update.
Okay, you're welcome. Take care now.
All right, you too. All right, listen, remember, I want to just throw this in. These shows repeat themselves. In case you're driving and you want to see them, you can go back to any of our sites, WVS 103.7, WRM 106, Facebook site, YouTube, our social media, and you can see the show. Weather, 61, high, low of 38. Saturday, high of 61, low of 52. Sunday, high of 65, low of 51. Monday, high of 59, low of 52. All 50% chances of rain or higher. Let's get into the show today. Our first guest has a brand new, I'm really excited about this because she's a brand new guest to the show, and she got a brand new program that we need to talk about. Put your hands together for McKenna Speed. As the crowd goes around.
Hi there. How
How
you
you doing?
doing?
Great.
Good. Thank
Can you
you.
tell people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I work for the Muskegon YMCA, and I'm the day camp director here at the Y. We're starting a new day camp program in Muskegon this summer at McGrath Park for kids kindergarten through seventh grade. We're really excited because, we have had things in the past where we have like an affiliated Camp Pendaluan, which is in Montague, Michigan, and they kind of do overnight camps there and some day camps there, but we haven't had a specific day camp designated for just Muskegon in the Muskegon area. So we're really excited about all that is to come with that.
So, is this a new program at McGrath Park?
Yes. So this is the first summer that we're going to be launching the program. It's going to be held at McGrath Park. It's going to start June 17th. We kind of run on a week by week basis. So we speak in terms of like sessions. So there's 10 different sessions throughout the summer. Each session is a week long. And yeah, it's going to run until August 23rd. So we're super excited about
Now, what will be the hours of that childcare?
Yeah, so it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it's all lunch, snacks included in the day. And on Thursdays, we're also taking a trip to Camp Pendaluan in Montague, Michigan, to kind of give some of the kids a variety of activities that they can try. Because at Camp Pendaluan, we have high ropes, archery, boating. So they get to do that there for the day at Pendaluan and then come back to McGrath Park at night. So,
Now, who qualifies for this program?
Anybody can be a part of the program. So we have specific rates set up so that if you are a part of the Muskegon City, like if you're a Muskegon City resident, you get a specific Muskegon City resident rate. And then if you're outside of the city of Muskegon, you have a separate rate, but there's also financial assistance available to everybody. So we really want to focus on our goal, which is to make sure that all kids get the opportunity to experience camp. So yeah, we're pretty flexible. We really just want to make sure that everybody and each individual family's needs are being accommodated.
I commend you on you guys doing this because of the shortage of daycare and affordable daycare, and also a chance. How important is it for our kids, all kids, to be able to experience the things like at Camp Pendaluan?
Yeah. So I grew up going up to YMCA camps as a kid, and I can really speak to just how big of an impact it has on your character development, and also, I don't know, self-confidence. I really found like a second family within my YMCA friends. And I learned so much about myself and who I wanted to be. I looked up to the counselors a lot, and they were kind of my professional role models and superheroes as a kid. So the YMCA is founded on 4 core values: their respect, responsibility, honesty, and caring. And so we put all of those core values really at the forefront of all of our programs and planning. So this day camp, even though it's going to be, just 8 hours throughout the day, every single activity that we're going to do is going to have those 4 core values in mind, and also inclusion and exploration and discovery for each child. So,
McKenna, for our listeners and our people that are viewing, I didn't get a chance to say this. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I grew up going to YMCA camps as a kid myself, and I fell in love with the outdoors. I fell in love with working with children. Once I was old enough to become a camp counselor, I became a camp counselor myself. I went to college at Grand Valley State University, and I got a degree in psychology and also another degree in environmental sustainability, just because those are 2 of my really big lifelong passions. And so I've been kind of trying to figure out throughout my life how I was going to combine the 2. And I feel like working in camp settings is really the perfect combination for me, because I get to work in the outdoor setting and teach people about the importance of, the natural environment and what it has to offer for all of our well-being, but also getting to impact kids as well as the broader community through, youth development programs.
Mm-hmm. You talked about each having different sections. Talk about that, what's going to happen during those different sections of learning or whatever.
Yeah, so each session is a week long. Each one has a unique theme so that we can kind of keep things interesting on a week-to-week basis. The daily schedule itself, we kind of have kids come in the morning. We start with a little story and a song, get them really pumped and excited for the day. And then each child is going to be grouped based on their grade in school settings, so that we can kind of keep, kindergartners and first graders together, second and third, fourth and fifth, sixth and seventh. And then in the beginning of the morning, they're going to move around the McGrath Park in their cabin group, get to try lots of activities that they have at McGrath Park. They have a disc golf course, basketball court, lots of room to do nature walks, arts and crafts, anything you can really think of. So we're going to do that in the morning. Then we have a little lunch in the afternoon. And then later on, we really want the kids to focus on mastering certain skill sets that they're already interested in. When kids are out of school, there's a lot of summertime learning loss. And we want to combat that by giving them programs that they find fun and engaging, but also have really detailed lesson plans and purpose behind them. So in the beginning of the week, the kids are going to pick 2 skill areas that they're interested in getting to know more about, and then they'll work on those for 2 hours every day throughout the week so that they, one of the program areas is going to be sports and games. And so if your camper is excited to try different sports and kind of see where that can take them, every day they're going to try a new sport. And hopefully by the end of the week, they either found a sport that they really love and want to continue with outside of camp, or they had a really great time and they realized that maybe they were good at something they didn't know they were good at before. Just kind of building on that like mastery skill level. And then at the end of the day, we all come back together and we do a camp-wide activity, get them excited for the next day to come.
Now, what kind of numbers, how many people can be in this program?
Yeah, so we have 76 spots to fill per week. And that's kind of broken down into each cabin group. So roughly 20 kids per age group. So the kindergartners and first graders will have 16 spots. Second and third will have 20, as well as fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh.
Wow. Okay. So some questions are coming in already. All right. Anita, thank you for writing. Great opportunity. Are all of the adults and counselors and administrators vetted and subject to background checks and cleared to work with children and young adults?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Vanita, for asking that question. Every single staff member has a background check. If they're over 21, a central registry clearance. They all go through extensive training on CPR, how to work with campers and behavior management, what to do in case of an emergency. So we really take safety as our number one priority. So all of our staff have been vetted. They go through an extensive hiring process, and making sure that our children are safe and feel comfortable and welcomed at the Y is our absolute first priority.
How many people will be working in this program?
Yeah, so I myself am the camp director, and then I will have 14 people on the staff as well that will be at the park every single day, going to Pendaluan with us on Thursdays. And Pendaluan has their whole entire own team there that will also be able to help throughout the day when we take our field trip to Camp Pendaluan. But yeah. We also have a health officer who is going to be on site every day to kind of help with Band-Aids if somebody scrapes their knee, or give medication if a kid needs to take meds with lunch, that sort of thing.
Now, you said you grew up in camp culture and it was a big part of your life. Talk about some of those experiences and how you've been able to transfer those skills in your present day life.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the easiest things for me to talk about personally is I remember one of my like first years at camp. Um, we all like to always be outside. I think it's really important to be outside and to get to know the natural environment. And one of the things that we would do at my summer camp is even when it was raining, unless it was like thundering and lightning, we were still outside in the rain. And I think as a young kid, kids can get kind of bummed by that and they can be like, oh, this is so annoying. Why are we in the rain? But we kind of had this mindset of we're going to make the best out of it. And I remember we all broke into this big like dance party in the rain and we were all splashing in puddles and it was incredible. And I think that that set me up to be able to deal with uncomfortable situations, as weird as that sounds, in my adult life. You know, if something's cold outside, you just kind of have to tap into that inner mindset and pull that resilience out. So I think that that was one of my like core memories, other than meeting all of the people that I met as a camper. I remember there was one specific group of people that I kind of like came up the ranks of the summer camp with, and I'm still friends with them all to this day. They're some of the best people I've ever met. And I really think that that group of people, as well as the counselors that kind of helped us all grow up, they have been the biggest influence on myself and who I want to be and how I want to hold myself, and also just inspiring me to give back to my own community. So,
What? Hold on. You hear that, people? Parents, get your kids outside. Take those cell phones away and let them play with trees. We had to learn how to play with stuff. We had to use our imagination. So anyway, sorry about the tangent. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, learn how to drink from a water hose. Okay, all right. Now, so, how long have you had the position with the Y?
I have been here for the past 3 months. Before that, I've worked in childcare for over 8 years now. I started with the Y at a young age, worked with the YMCA across in Detroit for a little while. Then I've worked with the Boys and Girls Club in the past. I've really been in the childcare scene for most of my life.
You doing this, you know, most of your life. You've seen the change and the transformation of where kids are less, you know, inclined to be. They want to be inside. They want to be on their phones. They want to be playing the games. They don't want to be outside. They don't want to be learning. Talk a little bit about that transformation and how do we get the kids back outside to experience nature?
Right. I think a big thing in my mind about why kids nowadays aren't interested in going outside. Well, one part of it is that they have the ability to sit there all day and do this, right? And then, you know, there's so much content on our devices that's so enthralling. And so I think that one of my goals, and also the YMCA's goal, is that we want to make the outside and our community just as enthralling and as engaging as sitting on your phone or playing video games could be. You know, there's so much to learn. And if you give kids access to all of that knowledge and kind of present it in a way that's digestible based on their age, then I really truly believe, and I have seen it with my own eyes, how passionate kids get about the outdoors, about community service, about sports, about dramatic arts, all of it. You know, every kid has something that's their niche. And if they don't know what it is yet, camp is a great way to explore that and find that. And then that gives them kind of a passion and a purpose in life that they can move forward with.
For the people like ourselves that had the opportunity to go through the Y or Boy Scouts or Boys and Girls Club, this is an excellent opportunity to advance your children's life. So let's break the program down even more. This day camp. Now I know you said it before, but we have new listeners on. It's going to be from what grade to what grade?
Kindergarten through 7th grade. So if your child is entering 7th grade in the fall, they would be eligible.
And you only have room for, like, I think you said 76 or 77 kids.
Yeah, 76 kids a week.
Okay. And then there are 10 modules.
So there's, yeah, so first session is June 17th until June 22nd. So that's the first week of camp. And then each week after that is a new session.
Okay. And talk now, what should be expected for the younger kids to some of the things, activities they will learn versus the older kids?
Right. So the younger kids, you know, they're going to have lots of access to arts and crafts. My team is going to be super engaging with that demographic to make sure that they are being entertained at all times. I personally think that when you let kids run loose and just run all over a park, it gets a little chaotic and not as interesting. You know,
Right.
if you give kids activities and give them songs to sing as they're walking from one station to the next, or games to play along the way, they're going to keep their focus. And so a lot of our games for the younger kids are going to be focused on, you know, getting to know basic things in nature, taking a nature walk. What's that tree? Oh, what's this thing on the ground that you've never seen before? Getting them accustomed to doing like motor skill things with sports, and getting to know one another, building those interpersonal skills. And then with our older group, a lot of that is also going to be the same, but just adjusted so that it's a little bit more advanced depending on their age.
You talked about interpersonal skills. How important is that?
I mean, I think it's personally the most important skill that you could learn in life. There's no possible way to go through this world nowadays without having interpersonal skills and being able to build relationships with others. And I think that my experience at summer camp is really what set my foundation to be able to put myself out there and kind of do things that I had never done before and get to know people who were complete strangers. And on the other side of it, realize that it was the best experience of my entire life, and that there is so much I didn't know about other people and other people's experiences that, you know, when you get to know somebody, you can never assume that you know everything about them. A lot of people have things going on in their lives that they don't talk about. And I think that being at summer camp and meeting people from different backgrounds and experiences in life builds empathy, and it builds a deep desire to understand one another. And I think that that's the most fundamental part of a community. And nowadays, especially, I think that we really just need to hone in and foster that in our youth.
Okay. Okay. We want to thank you for just great news about, you know, having our kids being excited about getting outside. Now, let's go to this. I'm that parent trying to talk to that teenager or that younger kid about, instead of getting off their phone and going and trying something new, what should I talk to them? How can I talk to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was my child, I would kind of, you know, tell them what the camp's about. Tell them, you know, what activities that they offer. If your kid's into sports, we've got it. If they're into arts, we've got it. If they're into sitting around and just getting to know other people, we've got that too. If they're maybe not so into any of it, there's a lot that they can still try and do. And I think that as a parent, the thing that you want the most for your children is for them to learn and grow and become as much as they can be. And, you know, a lot of kids don't want to step outside of their comfort zone all the time. But I think just that gentle encouragement would be a world of a difference, and just supporting them through it, right? If your camper is nervous to go, then just say, I understand, you know, sometimes things are really scary and it's really hard to try new things, but it's important to try new things to figure out what you like and what you don't. And so then, you know, maybe your camper goes, and I feel certain that they're going to love it, and then it's going to be a fantastic experience.
What do you think? The sooner our kids learn those skills, the better off they are or will be?
Yeah, I think, you know, everybody kind of learns things at their own pace. But if you start at a young age with any child and kind of gently foster them in an environment surrounded by a community who cares about them, cares about their dreams and their goals for themselves, wants the best for them, wants their safety, they're going to be an environment where they are going to be able to grow and become exactly who they want to be. And that is the main purpose of youth development.
You know, McKenna, it almost sounds like, you know, it says it takes a village to raise a child. It almost sounds like you guys are developing a village that people can get together for so many hours to expand their knowledge.
For sure. Absolutely. And it goes so much further than the kids, right? Like when your kid comes to camp, they're going to have memories and experiences that they're going to bring back home and tell their families all the stories. And then maybe they'll play the games with you at night. And, you know, I think it's something that camp doesn't just touch the campers, but it's a ripple effect because the campers are so touched by their memories and their friendships that they make that they then want to go bring that joy to other people.
You just brought up something that the kids get excited about an activity and maybe want to take it home. How important is it that we accept that and embrace that and get involved in that new experience that they just obtained?
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a camper myself, I would always go home on the car ride home from camp and I would tell my parents an entire 3-hour story of my week. And they would just sit there kindly and lovingly listening to everything I had to say. And then at dinner that night, I would always want them to sing the camp songs that I sang at camp dinners. And I mean, they definitely embraced it. They definitely weren't sure what they were trying out for the first time, but I remember seeing the looks in their eyes, knowing how happy it made them to see me as happy as I was. And so I think that that's, you know, just a gift to give to your children and yourself to know that they felt so embraced and so welcomed in a place that they cannot stop raving about it.
Okay, so listen, we're at the bottom of the hour. So tell people once again how they can get people registered. Give us that shameless plug right now.
Yeah, so you can go to muskegonymca.org. If you go to the top little scroll bar and hit programs, the first one down is Muskegon YMCA Day Camp. Otherwise, on the screen right now, I can see we have our flyer. There's a QR code. I'm not sure if you're able to scan it from here, but yeah, you can click on our website. We are able to get you registered through the links on there. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me either at mspeed@muskegonymca.org or give our office a call.
Oh, what's the office phone number?
It is 231-722-9622, and my extension is 206.
Back from Benita says, awesome, and thank you. And I join her and say, as well, Muskegon, we want to thank you, McKenna Speed, for what you're doing. And will you come back and give us an update how the program is going?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you, and have a great weekend.
Yes, you as well.
All right. That was McKenna Speed. And that's, listen, people, if you need childcare, if you need to expand what your kid knowledge of getting outside and learning what that's all about, this is an opportunity, a great opportunity. Do not miss it. They only have room for 77 people. So listen, make sure that you get your kids in summer camp. All right. We are at the bottom of the hour. We're coming back with a Muskegon's native, and I'm just Henrietta K. Hadley. I'm so excited to talk to her, but we're going to take a commercial break. You're watching or listening to Torn in Two on 103.7 The Beat or M106. See you in a second.
The wait is over. The all-new Umoja Radio Network, home to over 40 Black-owned radio stations and podcasts, is here for you. Connect to the world's fastest-growing collection of unapologetically Black and proud media, from podcasts to independent Black-owned radio stations, and access to the important news and music you need. Umoja Radio is from our culture, by our culture, for our culture. The all-new Umoja Radio is available right now on Google Play and the Apple Store. Join the movement. Be empowered.
When smoking gives you COPD, you learn to lie a little bit. You make up excuses like, I have to get my keys. You guys go on. Anything so you can walk at your own pace. I used to do that all the time. Those lies don't work anymore. My tip is, the worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Welcome back to Touring and 2 on 103.7 The Beat. April, can you believe that we're in at April 26, 2024? Again, today's weather, 61 high, low of 38, chance of rain. Now, we have another new guest that I'm excited. First time to the show. Put your hands together for Henrietta. How you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. How you doing?
Great.
Welcome to the show.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Listen, tell us a little bit. I was reading your bio. It's extensive. Would you tell people a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm born and raised here in Muskegon, Michigan, preferably in the North Muskegon area, known for the Buell Park and Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church. Those are our two landmarks in the North Muskegon area, so that it's not confused with Norristown or Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp. I am just a proud native of that area. I've been blessed to return back to Muskegon after being gone for over 25 years. And really just sow back into the soil that prepared me for the world. You know, I've lived in some amazing cities and some amazing states, but in the 7 years that I've been back in the great state of Michigan, preferably on the west side of the state, I can't tell you what a difference coming back home has made in my life. So that's the start. But in terms of a little bit more about me, I left Muskegon probably in the late 80s, if that dates me. And I was working an amazing job at Baker College here in Muskegon. They had just located in the Muskegon area at the old Muskegon College. I don't know if the old Muskegon Business College. I think you can relate if you're from here. And they had just taken residence in that area. And I had just graduated from Western in their business and merchandising curriculum. And someone said, hey, Henrietta, have you thought about applying over at Baker College? They're coming to Muskegon. You're pretty fresh out of college. You've got some cutting edge ideas when it comes to fashion and merchandising. Why don't you go over and talk to the administration and see if they'll give you a job? And don't you know, I did. And I was one of the founding faculty members for the Fashion Merchandising and Design School that they brought to Muskegon. And I tell people this story all the time. If it's prom season now, and this one particular designer gets pretty overloaded with prom dresses and tuxes, and that's the designer that we all know, Gardenia,
yes,
here in Muskegon. She was one of my students.
Really?
So Gardenia and some of the other amazing fashion folks of Muskegon came out of that first group of fashion students at Baker College produced here in Muskegon. And as soon as I did that for about 2 years, I tell you, someone recommended that I go to California. So, you know, Muskegon, when they recommend that you do something or they believe enough in you to send you out to the masses, you don't even question. And at that time, I'm going to drop some nuggets that I know that your listening audience are going to. Robert Moore, Larry Hines, Charles Booker, J.R. Simmons, musicians of a lifetime, right? In Muskegon, there are Muskegon legends. They heard me chirp a little bit at a play that I was just volunteering at in between my work at Baker. Someone said, go down to the Civic Theater, Henrietta, and volunteer for an upcoming production called Pearly. I said, okay, I'll go down there and volunteer. I don't have nothing to do. And I go down there, and Mr. Moore and those amazing musicians that I just mentioned were going to start kind of planning this band, this orchestra that they would be producing for this production called Pearly that the Civic Theater was producing.
Oh, yes.
And they asked me to volunteer, and I went down to volunteer. And then somebody said, Henrietta, since you're here, we know you sing a little bit. Why don't you just audition? Do you know? I auditioned. Not only did I audition, I got a principal role as one of Pearly's support characters. And then Mr. Moore was like, girl, you got to start singing with Greenbrook. And not only are you going to sing with Greenbrook, you know, I'm going all the way back there for the listening, for the old schoolers, right?
Now, wait a minute. You know, I was sitting up here and you mentioned a bunch of friends of mine, the guys that I used to play with, and I was going, I know her from somewhere. Greenbrook.
I'm back.
And we don't want to talk about JP Adams. No, okay.
All of that.
All of that.
So Mr. Moore and them, they had me singing, and Larry and Charles was like, Henrietta, no disrespect to the, you know, Civic Theater and Muskegon and Baker College, but girl, you need to go to LA. Irving Foster had just moved to LA, and they were like, we getting ready to hook you up with Irving. You're going out there and you getting ready to make Muskegon proud. Well, I'm going to just tell you this story. I ain't told nobody. And we don't, you know, just me and you, right?
Yeah, it's just
I made a mistake and fell in love. Jesus. Then fell in love in LA, and now you know, the rest is history. But I'd say all of that to say Muskegon believed enough in me and sent me away. And I tell you, I don't think I came back too bad. They sent me away. I learned so much, had so many opportunities, from music to education to just hearing your guests before. I did some professional development. I did some youth development, and I really have done a lot. That's why the bio is so extensive. But to come back home now, 7 years flat, back home in Muskegon, I can tell you that I have been able to take all of those experiences from LA to Philadelphia to wherever else my feet landed, and I've come back home to really pour back into my community, like my community poured into me.
You extensively have been sowing seeds in people's lives. Talk a little bit about that, and talk about some of the programs that you're doing now, because you're sowing into good ground.
So first of all, I come back home, and a cousin of mine started a nonprofit called WINC, W-I-N-C, which means Women Injured in Combat. The wounds you don't see for veterans that are injured and they come home and they need some help. And so she knew what I had been doing on the East Coast and said, hey, will you come back and be a part of my nonprofit? And I'm a firm believer, before I say yes to much, I want to figure it out. You know, I want to volunteer, I want to help, I want to watch, I want to see. And as I was doing that, I realized that I had somewhat of a heart for women, and preferably women that had been injured or women that are going through some things. And I started volunteering, and no joke, it's been 5 years. I'm still working with these veterans, learned a lot about the veteran community, knew nothing as I know now as a civilian. But I've been working with women veterans, helping this nonprofit that I volunteered with really leverage how a nonprofit should navigate in the world of mission and nonprofit. and took a lot of those business traits that I learned in the industry of merchandising and what I talked about before at Baker, and just started applying them to the nonprofit. Because what a lot of folks didn't know is that even though you're a nonprofit and you file as a 501c3, you're still running an organization like a business.
Right.
And so I've been helping them for the last 5 years really leverage their nonprofit, but also help the women that they serve understand that they have a purpose and that they still are important to our country, even though they're home. So that's been the one thing, really starting to develop individuals and their dreams and their goals. A lot of our men and women are interested. They come home, they want to have businesses. And because I've done business for other folk for so long, this same cousin said to me, you should start your own consulting firm.
Mm-hmm.
You have a wealth of information. You can't pretty much put it all on a bio or in a resume, but you can definitely pick and choose how to use it when you're helping people. So no, I'm not in the classroom teaching, at least not with the nonprofit, but I am able to coach and advise folks through this consulting firm that I started here in Muskegon 3 years ago, teaching, veterans. But now, since COVID, I'm able to really work with anybody who's interested in a for-profit or a nonprofit, understand how to leverage their ideas, leverage their missions, and then make some money in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. Talk about your consulting firm, the name, and some of the other things that you do in this firm.
So the consulting firm came about in a pitch competition that me and this same cousin was participating in, because pitch competitions and pitch workshops are big now. You hear a lot of pitch. Mm-hmm. And the veterans were offering a pitch competition, and she and I were sitting there, and she said, well, what should we name it? And I said, well, I don't know. We're going to be helping people with problems. We're going to be bringing the solution. So we named it Infinite Solutions Consulting Group. Endless possibilities. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so the business name came about because we really looked at what are we going to be providing, and we are providing resources, we're providing advice, and sometimes we're providing a matchmaking opportunity for businesses or nonprofits that are having a hard time getting to funding, finding out where information is housed, or sometimes even having that conversation. We can have great ideas, but sometimes we have a hard time articulating what we're saying and what we want. And so we've been serving as kind of the connector for a lot of organizations. And so the Infinite Solutions, infinite, we can take you wherever you want to go. I've learned that I don't know everything, but I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So I don't mind asking the question of where the information is so that I can get that to my clients. Because of COVID, we are definitely a very mobile company. So I have clients, believe it or not, from Muskegon to probably Ghana. Because of social media, people are always emailing or reaching out to me on Messenger or in any platform saying, how can you help me, or how can we connect? And so I've been doing that not only in person here in Michigan, but across the social media platforms, and just helping people. It's such a relief when I have the initial conversation with someone, whether it's a free consultation and they're just coming in to find out how I can help them, or if it's a 6 to 12 month contract that I'm working with that person for a long time to get to the end result of what they need.
I want you to talk to those individuals out there that, they have big dreams. Wait a minute. We have to go to the board. Will Robinson Sr. said you brought all that experience and knowledge back to Muskegon and poured it to others. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. I mean, I love Will. He and I have had some opportunities to work on some community projects together. Cosmopolitan Under the Stars that happens in Hadley Park every August. Will is a veteran. He and I have been working on projects to get other veterans connected. And also, just because of Will's comment, Will has a heart for our youth. And getting our youth connected in the trades, or getting our youth connected into community involvement if they don't really know what they want to do. And so he and I are actually working on an initiative right now to help our youth, and maybe even young folks 18 to 36, understand if you're not going to go to school, you can't find a job, let's get you into some training. So we have a pre-apprenticeship readiness program that we are working on right now. And his business is serving as kind of one of our partners to make sure that people have a place to go so that we can start educating them on the trades and on workforce development for Muskegon, Michigan.
Talk to people.
Thank you, Will.
There's some people out there that they have big dreams, they got big aspirations, but they have big fears.
Yeah.
Talk to those individuals right now.
Well, the first thing I want to say, don't let the fear get in your way. Something that we've all said and we've all done, do it with fear. Keep moving in your fear, because eventually it's like working a weak muscle. Your determination, your confidence is going to take over the fear. And before you know it, you look back and go, oh, I didn't even know I was scared, because you're already there. Reach out to individuals that are doing what you want to do. Sometimes we're not as far as we seem. Sometimes, because now we have social media, you can just send us a quick comment and ask questions of folks. Start looking at individuals that you might be a little intimidated by, but they have something you want, and start studying their skills. Start researching, go to the library, start Googling AI, do whatever you need to do to find out what do you need to be where you want to be. The fear definitely is just a fake way of keeping you stuck. Because believe it or not, there's somebody that has done what you want to do. So it's not like it can't be done. My 20 something daughter has taught me something in terms of fear. She says, Mom, just believe that it's already happening. Act like you're already there. Don't think about what you can't do. Think about and focus on what you're gonna do. And so that's been helping me, because, you know, it doesn't matter if you're young, medium, or old. We all have some type of thought of fear. And you have to have an accountability buddy, or somebody that can kind of talk you off the ledge every now and then. So having an accountability buddy, researching, looking at people that are doing what you're doing, asking questions, and then start moving in an action mode to get past the fear. Because 9 times out of 10, the fear is right here. But you can start walking and working through it. And the next thing you know, you look back and you're like, oops, fear is back there. And it's different levels of fear. So there could be a small amount of fear for that particular mountain that you've got to climb. And then there could be a medium level of fear for the next mountain that you have to climb. But I'm learning that the more we climb the mountains, or the more you continue to move up, there's usually somebody there that can help you with the climb. So there's always some support system there.
Talk a little bit about how important it is, and your life is a great example of giving back. How important is it that us older generation go back and give that information to that younger generation about some things that we did, we tried, but not to discourage them because our success or failures?
It's imperative. I mean, we must give back. And even if that younger generation does not want to listen, or they know more, or they think they know more, or they can do it better and smarter, still pursue. Show up when you don't want to show up. Make yourself available. Be accessible. And really make it a priority. I think for all of us that have been blessed to grow up in a smaller town before we were kind of launched into some larger environments, that's what made us. I often tell people a lot of times when I see Muskegon folks going into other cities and areas really excelling, it's because somebody sold into us. It's because someone took time to make sure that we were equipped before we left Muskegon, or even those of us that are here in Muskegon. We've got to sow into one another. It's important. I said earlier, if it wasn't for, Mr. Moore believing in me in my music, there's no way I would have took off to go to LA. So I think as more of the mature or seasoned or experienced folks, it is a priority that we give back. But at the same time, as much as we're giving back, we need to sit in a place where we can also consume what some of these younger professionals or younger folks have to share. Because when I came back home, I'm gonna be honest, my folk my age group had told me that, Henrietta, you better find a church or go to Grand Rapids or Detroit somewhere. And I was like, no, I don't think so. It was the 25, the 30-year-old, and some 40-year-old that were doing the doggone thing in Muskegon. And I got to give homage where homage is due. One of my nieces who had started a dance program called Steps with Stella K. She was doing some amazing things right here in Muskegon, bringing entrepreneurs together, bringing young people together, bringing seniors together to move and dance. Lachey Simmons, too. She started that expo. I went and volunteered with her Black Business Expo. Got me a lot of traction before I launched Infinite Solutions. So these young folks here in Muskegon are a little bit more progressive than what I would have imagined when I first came home. So sometimes the old folks can learn from the young folks and we can all learn together.
Let's go to the board. WVS 103.7 B. Here's the question, or a statement. You bring life into every room you enter. Thank you for your passion and desire to help our people. Priceless.
Well, I'm just going to say thank you. I learned that from Cornel West. We all know Cornel West is running to be president on the independent ticket. But he used to come to Philadelphia all the time where I lived. And one of my best friends was best friends with him. And Cornel would always come to Philly and he would always have this slogan. In order to serve people, you must love people. In order to love, you must serve. And that kind of became my little mantra everywhere I would go. But you know as well as I do, you can walk into some rooms and some folks ain't showing you love and they don't care how much you love or serve. They be looking at you like you're crazy. Well, but I think what happens is no matter how I try to stay in my lane since I'm back home, when you love people, it comes out. It just oozes out where you least expect it. And now I think people get it. When you see Miss Henrietta, whether you like it or not, she gonna come and hug, or she gonna have that smile on her face, and she's going to serve or to love you whether you want her to or not.
Where do you see your firm in a couple years?
Oh my gosh, I'm scared. I know I'm gonna have to probably train some folk. I'm going to have to trust some folks because, that's our biggest concern is trusting people because it is growing. It's growing to the point now that I go in and I just show up and I say, oh, I'm Henrietta, I'm with Infinite Solutions. And people know, they're like, oh my God, we've been watching you. You're everywhere. We want to get a part of what you have to offer. And I know that I'm not going to be able to serve individually some of these clients across the country because it's to the point now where myself and some of my consultants, because I'm just bringing other people in that have their own consulting business and they're helping me with projects as we speak, because I cannot do all of the work with the level of excellence that I want to give my clients. So right now, I'm hoping that in a few years, we'll be starting to hire some folk. And I would really love to be able to trust someone to be our project manager. That they would go in and pretty much do the screening work and then come to me and the rest of the team and tell us which projects we're going to be assigned to so that we can give those potential clients what they need.
Because of the global market, like you said, people are reaching out to you. I mean, you are sowing into so many people's life. At some point, do you, like you said, you get scared because where you might be going in a couple of years, but you really are advancing and helping people advance. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I love it. I just thank God that he's entrusted me enough to serve and to sow into other folks' dreams. Because you know as well as I do, you can be given an opportunity and not know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. Or not know how to be a good steward of it. And so that is my prayer, is that I would continue to be able to help folks and be honest enough to know if I cannot help them directly or I don't have the wherewithal to help them, that I have sense enough to say, let me refer you to someone else, or be able to share the wealth, because there's a whole lot of it to go around.
Let's talk about, okay, we talked about young people, but what about those older individuals that they have dreams and aspirations, but they're not taking that first step? Talk to those individuals about obtaining their dreams.
I'm glad you asked. Well, because of what, I mentioned earlier that Lachey Simmons too does with the Black Business Expo, and I think she might be going into her third year. What I saw from that expo that she has been presenting to Muskegon was I did see the more, say, mature or experienced individual who's retiring or who wants to have purpose but doesn't necessarily know what that looks like. So I started something called the pop-up shop, the pop-up marketplace at the holiday time. And so what I'm starting to see is that a lot of those individuals, both men and women, who may be retirees or who may be transitioning career-wise, but they have these dreams and they have these ideas, we're doing pop-up shops during the holiday, so that if they're not ready to come out all year round, they can come out for a couple of weeks during the holiday time, and they can showcase their ideas, be it an idea, be it a product, be it a service. And for 2 years in Muskegon Heights, right on Peck, and this year we were at a school board building. They gave us a wing over there. And I tell you, we had caterers, we had craft makers, authors, jewelry makers, consignment shop owners, and everybody in that group was over 40.
Wow.
With the exception of a couple of younger entrepreneurs. But they came out for 4 weeks and showcased their businesses. And if they didn't want to come out and showcase their businesses, we're starting to do some workshops around how to turn your passion into profits. And so this year, I'll be spending a lot of time doing more of that through some webinars to help that age group get comfortable before they come out.
Okay, because it's 3:00. So how can people get in touch with you in your consulting firm?
I would say if they're on social media, just start with social media. I have an Infinite Solutions Consulting business page that's right on Facebook, or they can just go to my Facebook, Henrietta Hadley. It's right there. Or they can just contact me, Henrietta Hadley at Gmail, and tell me they're interested in some business ideas or resources, and then I'll transfer them over to the business page just to make it easy for today.
Will you come back on the show? Because we got so much more to talk about.
Exactly. But one last plug before we leave.
Hey, get it out.
Please buy your tickets for the Black Dress Muskegon event. It is on May 10th at Barclay Place, we are highlighting about 6 to 7 women here in Muskegon for their greatness and how they have blessed our community. It's called the Black Dress Event Muskegon. I'll send you some information, but we want everybody in the place. Thank you.
Hadley, thank you so much. We're going to have you on the show again. You take care. God bless and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Gregory.
Bye-bye. All right, listen, the show, man, I know we had a lot of people. Let me get that email up there. That's the email for Henrietta's Gmail. If you need that information, that's there. Okay, listen, it's 3:01. We have to leave. Thank you so much, all the people that are involved in making this show happen. And I want to say this. We say it every week, but we mean it. Go and sow a seed in somebody's life because you never know who you might touch. Take care. God bless.